Thanks very much for that introduction. And I would like to thank Queen's Chamber as well. They always do such great work and provide so much value to the community. I do want to take exception with one thing that Shearing said, however. She said that Accompany Capital provides webinars on small business topics. I happen to think LinkedIn is an enormous business topic. So that's what I'll be addressing today. It's one of my favorite social sites. I think it's incredibly powerful. And we're going to talk about some great ways you can use it to help you achieve your own business goals. So with that, let's see. Oh, okay. There we go. There we go. So that's me. Shearing introduced me pretty much the same way, but I just want to say that I was working in film production previously, and I was working in an advertising agency in 2006. And my creative director and I took one look at YouTube when it was invented and thought, oh my gosh. And that's when I became a social media strategist, looking at YouTube and Twitter, because like LinkedIn and like all of the social sites, they're free, which is an extraordinary opportunity. And you know, a lot of folks, particularly if you're younger, don't understand how difficult it was to reach audiences before the advent of social media. Social media was a tremendous breakthrough because it meant you could basically publish your own without a publishing company. We were making $500,000 commercials for the Super Bowl, but on YouTube, anybody could upload. So it was a very exciting moment. So today we're going to talk about whether or not you are leveraging LinkedIn for your business in a way that's really helping it grow. Questions are you in your business on LinkedIn yet? And I'm assuming everybody who is here is. Personally, important thing to realize is that your business should be as well. Are you maximizing your account's value? Are you using LinkedIn to help you meet your marketing goals? And are you taking advantage of all the features? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. LinkedIn is your most powerful social network. I know it's not the most glamorous one. I know Instagram is more attractive. TikTok is more exciting. Facebook is more of the old standby. But LinkedIn has over 810 million members worldwide. There are 57 million companies on it, 1.4 billion people visit it each month. It's the highest demographic in terms of buying power, which as a business person is obviously important. These are the folks who have jobs, need services, have money to spend on your products. So it's a highly educated and let's not say affluent, but most affluent of the social networks. It is 277% more effective at generating business leads than Facebook or Twitter, based on folks. These are coming from a variety of sources, people who track where exactly all the leads are coming from. 60% of users are between 25 and 34. And this is interesting because people tend to think that LinkedIn skews older, but it doesn't necessarily. It skews people who need to do business and people who are looking to connect with people. And that does include a younger demographic. Interestingly, and this is a funny little factoid, 33% of all TikTok users also use LinkedIn. I don't know if that's because older people are getting on TikTok or just they also get serious when it comes to business. And this map just shows you how incredibly it has penetrated every market in the world. Now, that's not necessarily important to you if all your business is in the United States, but if you have suppliers providing you from other countries, it's good to know you can connect with them on LinkedIn as well, or if you have markets in other countries. So let's take a look. So the reason why LinkedIn is so powerful and so much more effective than other sites in terms of getting your message out is their algorithm. They've been honing it since '93. They predate a lot of the more social of the social sites. And they've had a long time to really perfect this. And one of the things that makes it special, which incidentally Twitter is now imitating, is that every like, every comment, every share is a post. All you have to do is like something and you have effectively posted it. Why is this important? It means it's a very cost-effective, time-effective way to be present in your network, to attract attention, to get eyeballs, to be top of mind. Because their algorithm is so effective that if you post 3 times a week, you will be seen by 50% of your network every month. That's a killer algorithm. Facebook doesn't deliver that at all unless you pay for it. Twitter doesn't deliver it. TikTok doesn't deliver it. Instagram doesn't deliver it because they're moving streams. If it goes past, nobody's ever going to see it again. Twitter looks like they're experimenting with more of a LinkedIn algorithm now, but that means that if you just like something on brand 3 times a week, you're effectively posting. And you're going to be seen by a lot of folks. So that's unbeatable. So here's an example of that. This is a post by Company Capital. It's a post where they highlighted several other people, so there was a lot of tagging going on. So it achieved 759 impressions. That's pretty impressive. Close to 800 people saw this post. Why is that? Because Yankee Shearing, who's the executive director, shared it. She also liked a comment. Roberto Evans, who works for Company Capital, shared it, and Yankee liked a comment. Lena Ostrovsky shared it, and Yankee liked a comment. Yankee liked a comment that somebody who doesn't work for Company Capital made on the original post, and she also liked somebody else's comment on her own share. Each one of those was a new post of the original post by the company, Accompany Capital. So in the end, just liking, sharing, reposting helped this one little post achieve close to 800 views in a very short time. And that will never happen on a Facebook post for a company unless you pay to boost it. So that's part of the power of LinkedIn, that it is incredibly generous with how it shows things to other people and how frequently it shows things to other people. So let's keep that in mind as we talk about how best to use it. So first of all, before you start posting, you need a plan, obviously. As with any marketing tactic, using LinkedIn should be in support of overall business objectives. I like to look at business objectives as immediate, short, and long-term, and they can be very different. And it could very well be that for your immediate goals, Facebook or Twitter are a solution, or Instagram's a solution, but for your long-term goals or short-term goals, LinkedIn is a better solution. It depends on what your goals are. So before deciding on any social strategy, you need to see what exactly you want to achieve in your business in general. There's no point just, hopping on and starting to share and like if it's not driving, if that time isn't spent driving business to your company or helping you achieve your goals. So an immediate goal could be you have a fundraiser next week, or you've got a new product that you want to launch. A short-term goal could be you want to get in stores. A long-term goal could be, as a consultant, you want to become an adjunct professor. There are lots of different goals depending on who you are and what your particular business is. So it's always important to think about how to use a social site like LinkedIn or like any of them in terms of how they can support those goals. So as with any social site or marketing tool, there are lots of, but particularly the beauty of social sites is that they can help you accomplish a lot of goals. They can help you let people know what you do, which is branding. What kind of company do you have? What's your product? Anya makes coffee or sells coffee. So that's her brand. She's not a consultant. She has quality coffee. So you want to always be letting people know that's what you're doing. The other important aspect of branding is search. Google indexes social sites. Google indexes LinkedIn. Google indexes Facebook professional pages, not your personal one. Google indexes Twitter. Google indexes to a certain extent Instagram, but not very effectively. So every network connection you have, every person you're connected with on LinkedIn, every time you post something on LinkedIn with the URL of your business, that is fresh material for Google search, and you go up in Google's search results. You might notice that if you Google somebody or a company, their LinkedIn, their Twitter, all of their social sites are going to appear on page 1. And that's because Google lives for links. So every time you post who you are and what you do with links back to your website on social sites, it raises your search engine optimizations. That's an incredible gift from social media. You can also use LinkedIn and other social sites to do research, to listen to what potential clients or customers are saying, current ones or future ones, what their needs are, what they're searching for, what's not working for them, where they're going to be. Great research opportunity there. You can use LinkedIn and other social sites for PR and word of mouth, which is spreading the word about what you do. And we'll get more to that later, what you're doing right now. So for instance, you have a business that's participating in a fundraiser for a charity you support. That's PR. That's what you're doing this weekend. That's news as opposed to overall branding. Getting found by people who need what you do, obviously new business development, marketing, letting people know what you've got, where to get it, and why it's good for them. To find people who have or who do what you need, which is networking. You need suppliers. You may need people to help you with your IT. You may need all sorts of things, and you can find them on LinkedIn as well. And also, most importantly, retaining current customers, customer service, which is an incredibly important part of doing business, obviously, because they're your best ambassadors. So LinkedIn can be used effectively for all of these things. So let's take a look how branding, telegraphing who you are. This is your who, what, where, why, when, how. Think like a reporter. It's your opportunity to communicate immediately, visually, verbally, with key messaging, what you do and why someone needs you. So we take a look at the Queen's Chamber of Commerce profile, which is very well filled out. There's a picture that immediately positions them geographically. There's the big Q logo, great tagline underneath. For over 100 years, we educate, advocate, and network. 3 promises right there. That's what they do. Overview is filled out. Website is filled out. Whoops, what happened? Sorry. Website's filled out. And then the usual location is filled out. And you notice specialties at the bottom right here. Networking, special events, and seminars. You get a chance to list some keywords on LinkedIn that also help you turn up in search, both on LinkedIn and on Google. So this is a very well branded business site. We know immediately what the Queen's Chamber of Commerce is about. Here's a completely different way to telegraph who you are. This is an architect who's written a book. She's written a book about how she broke into architecture as a woman when it wasn't possible. So she's using her banner and the featured sections to communicate with visuals because she's a visual artist. She's an architect. That's what she does. So her banner is an advertisement basically for her book. It's the cover of her book, rejigged a little bit to fit the format. And then in her featured section, she's showing examples of her work. So if you have a visually attractive product, this is a terrific way also to communicate telegraphically to folks right away what your company does, why it's attractive, why people should want to learn more about you. If you're a consultant and you're a public speaker, it's a great place to also show you at work, show you behind podiums, include a video if you've got a great video. So that featured section is a really great tool for branding that too few people take advantage of. You can link to websites, you can link to a video, you can post your own pictures. Take a look at it and see if it works for you. And here is an entrepreneur with a natural skincare that's very popular with makeup artists. So on the right, we see her business account, and on her business profile, and on the left, her personal profile. And once again, telegraphic communication about that brand. She's got those beautiful pictures of her elegant bottles. On her page, on her account, she's got the featured section fleshed out with filled out not only with her products, but also with her work as a makeup artist. She's described who she is, her contact information is filled out. The website also, the page is posting from the business account as well. So you see those latest posts. So she's using her business account, her business page to post, and then she shares that to her personal one. And there's also a slightly different strategy between them, but you see at a glance exactly what she does, and you can tell at a glance if it's interesting and relevant for you or not. So she's doing a terrific job. So search, getting found. There are over 2 million searches conducted on LinkedIn each day, and that's actually an older number. So I think it's probably gone up. I got that little factoid from a 2019 site, so I'm sure it's gone up. It's gone up since 2019. So you want to make sure you're found on relevant searches, and it's very important to take a look at all of your how you've written your personal account and what you said on your business account to see if you're including those keywords you want to turn up for. So for instance, if you were a realtor in Queens, you want to turn up for that. These are the folks who do. You see real estate agent in Queens, Queen. I'm not sure why this one's turning up. He was probably a former realtor. So think about what people are searching for that you want to be found for. Again, if you have a coffee business, I keep going back to Anya here because we chatted a little bit before we started, but if you have a coffee business, be sure you're saying coffee, coffee supplier, South American coffee, gourmet coffee, all of those words that if somebody is looking for a supplier or would like to include some in their store or their pop-up, they're going to find you. So think always about the keywords. Put yourself in the mind of the person who may be searching for you and make sure you turn up in search and experiment with it. Because it could be that, you could try and not, and then you add a word and it works. So, it's a moving target. You can always add something, test it out, delete it. So research, finding insights and opportunities. Now, I just want to reiterate what Shiring said at the beginning, which is you're going to get a copy of this. You're going to get a PDF of all of this. I like to pack my slides because I think it's really important to have a lot of examples of everything. So don't worry about trying to take in everything or write it all down. You'll get a copy of this. So research, finding insights and opportunities. If you have a need for your own business, it's a great place to connect with vendors or suppliers or consultants. Here's an example of what happens if I put in translation Nepali. If you were looking for a translator for the Nepali community in Queens, for instance, these are the people that turn up. Here I specified the United States, so you can start to drill down that way. And here I look for people who are posting about it. So you see at the top, you can look for people, companies, posts, jobs, groups, schools. And here I looked for services in the United States. And here I look specifically for posts. So there are lots, what am I doing here? So there are lots of different ways that you can look for people. You can drill down in LinkedIn's own refinement of search. They have a way that you can really zoom in. So you can search for people, companies, services, topics, trends, requests. Somebody may be looking for what you've got. You do a post search for what you offer and see if anybody is looking for what you've got. It's a terrific place to do research for your business and find opportunities. LinkedIn has added hashtags in the past year, and fortunately, people are using them in a mature adult way, as opposed to on Instagram, where you'll find 60,000 hashtags. Here, it's used genuinely for search and to indicate what's what you're doing and what you're talking about. So, for instance, there's a real estate hashtag that has 4 million followers. If you are in the real estate business, that's a great hashtag to follow to see what other folks are saying. One thing that's so important about social media in general too is you want to be posting and interacting appropriately. So before you dive in, it's always a good idea to take a look at what other folks are doing, get a feel for the situation, who's posting what are they saying about it. And this is a great way to get connected with a community, the real estate community in this case, and see what folks are talking about. See if there are conversations you can join in, see if it gives you ideas for things you can share. Here I searched in the middle, I searched for jewelry show. If you're a jeweler, that can be an interesting, it doesn't have many followers, but that doesn't mean there aren't many posts. It just means not many people are following the hashtag itself, but other people who are about to announce a jewelry show could use the hashtag and you could make discoveries that way. And the final one, just for fun, was physical therapists. If you were a physical therapist and you were wondering how you could get started on LinkedIn, here's a good way to research what other folks are doing and what's getting comments, what's getting that interaction, what's getting that engagement, what works and what doesn't work. It's always great to learn from other folks who are doing it right. So you can search for either new contacts, services, or ideas for your own account, for your own social strategy. PR is what you are doing right now. And this is what most people use social media for. And it's clearly, again, as I was mentioning, when social media was born, it was suddenly an opportunity to be able to do it yourself at low cost, as opposed to hiring expensive consultants. Now, as a consultant, I'm very pro consultants. On the other hand, for a small business, it's a terrific, you get a terrific ability to just post your own news and let people know what you're doing and grow that way by building your own reputation, building your own contacts. So once again, here's the Queen's Chamber doing it right. They talk about their community job fair and small business day. at Woodhaven Manor, and I love the way they tagged everybody in the world right there. That is terrific networking going on right there. Supporting the community, networking with the people who came, letting folks know what a valuable service they provide. My sensor here is very, there we go, sensitive. Shout out to Accompany Capital as well. I like to, when it comes to PR posts, I like to maximize them. I like to post 3 times. One is when you're looking forward to it. Next week, looking forward next week to the community job fair, or looking forward to a new shipment, or looking forward to launching your product. Whatever it is that's going to happen, tease folks with the fact that you're looking forward to it. Then as it's happening, post about it as well. Pictures, so exciting, this is happening. A couple of days later, maximize it by talking about it again. So great to see so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so. That's what Queens is doing here, whereas Accompany Capital is looking forward to a virtual panel and networking event. And once again, they start to tag, Accompany Capital is tagging partners, clients, all sorts of people in that. So use that PR, use that idea with PR. If you've got some news, if you've got a new product, if you've got a place you're going to be speaking, if you've got a concept you're launching, mention it beforehand, wait a couple of days, another time of day maybe to catch other users. You know, it's important to remember that this is a stream as well. Some people check in the morning, some people check in at lunchtime, some people check in at the end of the day. So that's another way to space it out. Do one in the morning, a couple of days later, do the, you know, great to be here, or this is happening right now, post midday, and do the final wrap up. So great to see everyone at the conference, you know, if we start having conferences again in real life later on in the day. So you're seeing 3 different demographics of users as well, and letting them know what you did. Word of mouth. So word of mouth is the holy grail, the goal of social media. You want people to share your posts. Everybody wants to go viral. Viral is not something you can plan. Viral happens when you have something incredibly awesome that just happens to catch everybody's imagination at the same time. You know, and it's, you never know what it's going to be. I mean, Wordle, who knew, right? Or the dress years ago, crazy things go viral. But what you can do is share things of value that are of value to other people. That's really the key to social media. Rather than just talking about yourself, share value, share things that other people are concerned about, or that could be useful to other people. And the more exciting it is, the more important it is, the more likely other people are to support you in it. So here's a client of Accompany Capitals who, sorry folks, this, I have to be careful with my little mouse here. A client of Accompany Capitals who had a wonderful, great idea, disruptive idea, which is if you're a parent with children and you're going to the airport with all your bags and your baby, do you really need to bring your car seat as well? Or is it possible that there's a way to find cabs that already have car seats? And that was his brilliant idea. And he's now got a fleet of cabs all over the country that come with a car seat for you. So he calls his company Kidmodo, and it's great. So his sweet spot is people who are traveling, people with children who are traveling. So he shares value by also talking about lovely places to visit. Instead of just saying, use my service, use my service, use my service, he shares exciting travel news to people because his clients, his customers are going to be traveling anyway. Here's something that another friend of Accompany Capital's, Aline Sarah, who has a wonderful company called Natakalam that helps refugees by employing them as language teachers virtually. And she's been doing this since pre-COVID. Had a post about mobilizing so that they can help Ukrainian and Russian refugees get some income by starting to teach for her wherever they're being resettled. You know, wonderful idea, wonderful organization, news that everybody is very sensitive to right now. So she is sharing that they are providing value, and that is something I would share if I knew someone who could use it. It's a win-win for everyone. Here's something from the middle of the COVID lockdown, which was Accompany Capital clients in Queens who not only participated, not only were beneficiaries of the Queens small business recovery efforts, but we're showing them here making their customers safe. So this was when people started putting up sneeze guards and things like this. And this is letting the community know that it's safe to come to this store. So that's the kind of news that's of value to folks. And those are the kind of things that people are going to be grateful to see and also willing to share. And I really have to calm this mouse down here. So marketing, attracting new business. Everybody wants to attract new business, obviously. Keywords are the key. Getting found is the key. You want to be well branded so people know what you do. You want to share value so people see that you are competent, nice to work with, and have cool stuff or do great work. But you also want to get found. So really the key in all of this is the algorithm of search. And LinkedIn has an insanely powerful search algorithm and search tool. It rivals Google in my estimation for its efficiency. So always make sure that you're hitting all those words that represent your business and that you want to get found for. So here's the woman, the makeup artist with the natural skincare line. Notice that in her headline up here, I always, instead of just saying CEO of your company, nobody's searching for a CEO, they're searching for what you provide. So I always recommend that you use 3 descriptors that cover the extent of what your value is. So here she's saying makeup artist, natural beauty entrepreneur, creator of the B3 Balm all natural skincare line. So she's describing her own expertise. She's saying that she's a businesswoman, and she's describing the line that she represents. So we really get a lot of keywords in a nutshell, and we understand her capabilities and her value. Also in the skills section, don't let other people choose your skills for you. Make sure those skills really hit what you feel you have to offer. So she's got beauty, television, because she does professional makeup. She's a professional makeup artist, weddings, commercials, fashion, cosmetics, styling, photo shoots. She's got a whole list of them, and they cover the full range of what she does. Same thing on her company account, her company profile. And in all of the posts, it's important. I like to use a keyword strategy where you try and include at least 3 of your keywords in a very natural way in each of your posts. So every single one of your posts will turn up in a keyword search as well. So for the coffee entrepreneur who's with us today, always say coffee. It sounds obvious, but just a lot of people will go with great new products, take a look, say great new coffee, take a look. Use those keywords that people who want to find you will be searching for. Networking. Obviously, these are networking sites. LinkedIn was born as a business networking site. It's a terrific opportunity to find allies, partners, vendors, new business. Take advantage of all their bells and whistles. I love this feature where it says people you may know. With similar roles isn't always so useful. They could be competitors, but there's no harm in connecting with competitors either. There's no harm in creating allies in your sector. A lot of times they're people who are peripheral. For instance, here, one of my clients is a travel author and a travel writer. So in this travel industry group, for instance, if you search travel industry, you find all sorts of groups where you can meet people who are editors, who are publishers, who are vendors, who are all sorts of, here, for instance, a co-founder at Representative Travel, Global Travel Connection, travel editor at Bloomberg. These are valuable connections for somebody who's a travel writer. And these are as well. So, and I also absolutely recommend that everybody, if you haven't already, don't be scared. Upload your contacts to LinkedIn. Let LinkedIn have your Gmail password or your old legacy AOL password, whatever you're using. Let them draw out all of your current connections on your email contact list, because they will immediately show you every single person that you know who is on LinkedIn, and you can go through one by one. It's a very efficient way of connecting with the people that you know that you may just not have bothered to connect with yet. When I first joined LinkedIn, which was in the Wayback Machine when it was first created, I basically went through my life. I believe in connecting with every human you've ever met. I started with, am I in touch with anyone from elementary school? Answer no, but it got better after that. People from your gym, people from your book club, other parents, if you have kids from their school, just anyone you've known, anybody you do business with in other ways. If you use a house cleaning service, for instance, those folks, if you use your doctor, I don't know, anybody you know who's on LinkedIn, you should connect with. And there's a very good reason for that, which we're going to get into, which is you never know where the referral is going to come from, obviously. Customer service. Everybody wants new business, but the classic formula has always been that it costs 5 times more in time and expenditure to acquire a new customer than it does to retain an old. And old customers are the ones that share you by word of mouth. Old customers are the ones, happy current customers are the ones that recommend you to other folks. So remember that a key part of social media as well is supporting, is sharing, is answering questions from your current customers and making them happy. And there are lots of ways you can do it. Sometimes folks do it with special offers for their customers via social media, but a lot of times it's as simple as just liking their posts as well, if their posts are not too far from your brand. I would caution everybody to be very careful about things that don't belong on LinkedIn. There are people that use LinkedIn inappropriately. Most people are using LinkedIn to do business and to find other people who do business and to share their business news. I cringe every time I see clouds and an inspirational quote misappropriated to Nelson Mandela, or just wish, just hope it'll come true, or peace on earth, or animals, cute animal things, cute animal videos. They do not belong on LinkedIn. That's not what people are there for. And so I would be careful about liking those because your customers or your friends have posted them, because it becomes your brand. Remember what we said in the first place, that everything you like on LinkedIn, you've effectively reposted. So be careful about that. But I just want to add, while this formula has been altered a little bit by digital, because again, you don't have to, a lot of things can be done free via social media, it still never hurts to focus on your current community. Happy customers and clients bring referrals. So don't forget the customer service aspect of LinkedIn as well. Very, very important. So these are the things that that LinkedIn can help you with. Now, here's an example of putting it all together. This is a nonprofit that was founded at the very beginning of the pandemic by Taralucci e Vini, great New York couple of restaurants. The owner, first of all, didn't want to fire all his people at the beginning of the pandemic. He wanted to find a way to keep them working when restaurants had to shut down. And he got a call from a friend of his saying, hey, can I buy a bunch of lunches for the folks at Mount Sinai? And so he was one of the very first restaurateurs. A couple of folks did it. There was someone doing it in Queens. There was someone doing it in Harlem. But Taralucci was one of the very first restaurant companies to just start sending out lunches to the frontline workers and soliciting their current customers to buy lunches for the frontline workers. So it was obviously something that people felt very strongly about doing. It was very successful. So they created a nonprofit immediately, put the family to work creating this nonprofit to represent that, as opposed to doing it on their restaurant feeds. So here's an example of branding. Feed the Front Lines New York C added a button to help you learn more about them. That's branding. Look at this great picture. It shows you immediately what they're doing. They've delivered, there's a Taralucci bag right there, and they've delivered lunch to these, wonderful heroes who were busy saving lives 24/7 back then. So that's branding. You know immediately what they do. They are feeding the front lines. This is PR. We're live. Our bid to give auction is live now. That's what they're doing right now. That's a PR play on LinkedIn. Oh dear. This is new business. This is a restaurant. Who's this? Wait, who's this? Thank you guys. You guys are doing great work. We really appreciate you. Oh no, this is a doctor. Sorry, I couldn't see what was written underneath because I'm seeing the folks who are on the webinar there. So this is somebody they've helped, thanking them. It's not really new business because it's a nonprofit, but it's basically a satisfied customer kind of post. And then this is customer service. This is recognizing the support that Union Square Partnership has given them. Right? So it's thanking someone who sent them a donation to feed the front line. So it just shows you that, you know, with great images, just really clear messaging, very focused communication here, you've covered branding, PR, customer service, and new business in a really clear, telegraphic way. Not all of them are going to be appropriate for every business. You don't have to be doing all of them at once. Again, we go back to what are your marketing goals right now? They were a startup, so that was clear. So let's start with the basics. Your profile. Please do take advantage of every opportunity in your profile to really maximize your communication. Love sharing. Sharing does a great job. Love the fact that she's celebrating Women's History Month. She's had other really appropriate things in the past. We've got a great picture of Sharing standing against New York City. We know where she is, and she's done the good thing. She's used keywords right here to say everything that she represents. So if you're looking for economic development, if you're looking for community outreach, program management, or community partnerships, she's going to come up in search. She's identified herself as being in Queens, not just greater metropolitan New York. So that's very effective, because if you're in Queens, you know you can find Sharing there. Her experience is very well laid out. Important thing in your experience section, if you've got older jobs, you may not have the logos because the companies may not have been on LinkedIn yet. So take a look at your profile, because it's always a stronger look to have those logos there as well. And if you were looking for if you were working for the British Council before they were on LinkedIn and you don't have a logo, edit that, retype them in and save it, and it will pop up with a logo. So lots of very descriptive language here with keywords in it, describing what she's done, great logo work. And also she's maximized the contact information. Very important to have your website there as well for your personal contact. She's also got the address of the business, which is good. You can have up to 3 websites. So you can also include your Facebook business page or your YouTube channel. Or your Twitter, whatever you want to include there, you've got 3. Or if you've got a business with 2 different websites, great opportunity to include it there on your personal profile. And as we mentioned earlier, if you've got visuals for your business, definitely use that featured section. Or if you're a thought leader, definitely use that featured section. If you've got products to show, it's really effective to have those visuals there, and very few people take advantage of that. And also in your skills, make sure you're in control of your list of skills. Peel out anything, delete anything that somebody added that doesn't really resonate for you or that you no longer do, and make sure all of your current keywords are represented there. Here, if you're an entrepreneur, again, I mentioned this previously, use that section down there as well, that featured section, as a kind of portfolio of videos, links for your product and service. This is a Accompany Capital client, beautiful use of the logo up there, very friendly picture. And she's showing her PR here, like she was in the New York Times, she was on the Today Show. So this is a PR use of the features, the featured feature, rather than a show and tell, for instance, a branding of your products. Very effective use of it. So very important thing as well, be visible. You're on LinkedIn to be found. Don't be private. Make sure that everybody in the world can see you if they're Googling what you've got to offer. The way you do that is you go into your settings and go to visibility, and make sure that your visibility is public settings. And you want to edit your custom URL as well, so that it says the name of your business. So for instance, or your personal name for your personal one. So for me, that's my name right there. It assigned me C Ventura 675678. So if you've still got one of those, get in there and make it your name if you can. If you've got a common name, maybe add the name of your business after it. Find a way to make those words work for you so that it helps your search on Google search results as well, as a business person, as an entrepreneur. And I'm in favor of making all of this show, all of it. Because you want to be found. That's why you're there. You want to do business. The only thing that you might not want to have found, and I've heard this from people who are in sales, is you don't necessarily want to share your network. You may want to keep your network private, because salespeople in particular have told me that that other salespeople will get in there and try and steal your contacts. So, I'm so trusting. It's not an issue for me, but if it's an issue for you, I would keep your network private, but not anything else, not your jobs, not your picture. Make that visible. Connect with everyone you can think of. I touched on this briefly. Every walk of life that you know within reason. If somebody owes you money, maybe not, your ex probably not, but add everybody you can think of, because you never know where the referral is going to come from, and upload your email address book to get a good head start. In the past, it was glorious, because if you uploaded your contacts from Gmail or from your Outlook, you could click one button and invite them all at once. They've clamped down on that, because it's kind of spammy. So now you have to spend about 10 minutes clicking a bunch, wait a couple of days, click a bunch more, but it's still a huge time saver, because it shows you everybody who's on LinkedIn that you have not connected with. So definitely take advantage of that. Newsflash, I wish they would stop tinkering with things that work. For some reason, they've moved your invitations from other people, and this was in the past couple of days, to notifications as opposed to on your network page. Just wanted to let everybody know that, because that's a weird place for them. So keep an eye in your notifications tab, which may be cluttered up with a bunch of other stuff, the little bell at the top, for people who are trying to connect with you. That's a strange move, and I don't know why they've done it, but there it is. So the most important thing of all is a content strategy. As we mentioned in the beginning, no point jumping on and just starting to post if you don't know why you're doing it. So you want to decide how you want to connect the story of your product or business to your audience, and how you can do that visually. I'm going to really run through this, because I see I've been talking for a long time, but here's some ways, and you're going to get this, but so I don't want to keep anybody over our time if you've got to go, but just think about your business. Why did you start it? What's the main benefit or product or service you've got? What do people love about it? And what do you know that you can, what do you know as an expert that you can share with people? One of the secrets to social media is to give stuff away. Be generous. Share value, share your knowledge. People will come back to you because they'll see you as a source of knowledge. It's not like if you tell people one thing, they're going to use it and never come back to you, that they're done with you. You want to be a generous provider of value, because then people will want to do business with you. Decide who you want to reach, who your target customer or audience is, and then figure out what kind of content speaks best to them. People go on social media to be entertained, to look at cool stuff, to learn something new, to look at beautiful things, and to laugh. They go to LinkedIn to do all those things, but with a business twist. They want to find out what their friends are doing, who's got a promotion, who's got a new company, who's got some interesting thinking that can help them, and just news they can use for their own business. So you want to be engaging, helpful, informative, entertaining, uplifting, but not uplifting with the crazy quotes, uplifting with supporting other people in their successes, and excited about your own potential future. It can be your own original content, photos, videos, or you can share somebody else's story that's on brand, right? So here's, back when Accompany Capital was called BCNA, this was World Refugee Day, and this post was celebrating Eat Off Beat, which is a client and a wonderful company, and these are their dishes from around the world. So they're celebrating, Accompany Capital here is celebrating a client. It's not Accompany Capital news, it's a client news. That's a wonderful thing to do, and not only raises Accompany Capital's presence on LinkedIn, more and more people will see it, but I want to do business with somebody who's generous with others. You know, it's a wonderful content strategy to support others.
Is this Seki?
I'm sorry. Hello. Once again, think like a reporter. Remember who, what, where, when, why. Who are you trying to reach? What do you have for them? What would you like them to do? Where does your target spend their time online? When's the best way to reach them? And why would they respond to what you're posting? Here's a hilarious post that got 1.3 million views. We're not going to be that lucky probably, but it's incredibly appealing. It tells a wonderful story. You want to be sharing things that people are going to appreciate. So the best social strategy is always to add value. Here are 3 examples from the beginning of the pandemic. Kids home for the summer, not going out anywhere. Here's a way to entertain them. That was valuable to parents. Here's Assembly Member Katarina Cruz, Small Business Town Hall when everything first went virtual. And here's some free donuts for nurses. So these are all things that are of value at the beginning of COVID. Celebrating people. Queen's Botanical Garden doing a great job here, celebrating their people, their customers, their visitors, the people who make it work. Really, really beautiful feed from Queen's Botanical Garden. Really love it. Plus pretty pictures of the flowers, obviously. But they make it such an inviting place with this people first kind of strategy. I really like it. New products and branding. Eat Off Beat again. It's a Queens-based company. These beautiful graphics to show the companies, the countries that their chefs are from right now. They're refugee chefs. And they really do a beautiful job of showing you the new stuff they've got. Really great, because and it's important to know in their messaging always that their chefs are refugees, and so this is giving the chefs an opportunity also to find work and create the food they love here. Great work from Eat Off Beat, Queen's Company, Queen's Chamber of Commerce, killing it as always. Good work. This is all important news for the community. All of the services they provide for the community, news about Queens, opportunities for businesses, very value-oriented feed. They're a value-oriented organization, obviously, but everyone has value to provide. Your products are valuable. Tell me why. JJ Johnson, fabulous chef. He's in LIC now. He's in Long Island City. Started in Harlem. He was another people that was feeding the front lines. Very uplifting feed, and he gives away his recipes. He's about supporting a growing African-American contingent of chefs and people in the food industry, supporting Harlem, supporting Queens, supporting the places he is now, but he's also very generous with his talent and his food. So not only are they gorgeous pictures and fun videos, but he tells you how to make this stuff, which I love. So give it away. People will still do business with you. And here's sharing the experience. These are painters who teach in Italy, so they're using their social media feed to show you what it would be like if you join them. Very enticing, beautiful. Even if you're not a painter, you don't want to join them, it's a pleasure to look at them, at these pictures. And critical info. Here's a financial advisor, just packing the value into these things, giving away the value. He obviously wants to attract customers for himself, clients for himself, but he's still showing his expertise. He's trying to attract customers and clients by showing you that he's an expert and sharing his expertise with you. So excellent, excellent work from this fellow. And a reminder that if you do, and you should, if possible, if you have a company, your company should have its own LinkedIn profile. The strategic way to do this, since fewer people see the companies than see people, is to start your post on the company page. Same thing for Facebook, post to the company page and then share it. Shearing liked it, which is as good as we know as sharing it. Yankee Shearing here shared it with a comment. So by sharing a Company Capital's post, they're amplifying a Company Capital's reach. Most of these algorithms favor humans over companies. So this is the strategic way to get the company seen. So do that as well for your company if you've got it. Post something incredibly valuable or attractive or intriguing or thought-provoking from your company's site, and then share it with a comment to your personal account on LinkedIn. Remember, social media is about people. A lot of times we get caught up in the data and the algorithm, the numbers, things like that. But it's really about people. There are human beings on the other side of the computer. As you send the message out, a human is sitting at their desk or holding their phone reading it. So remember, you're talking to people. Like with any social media platform, LinkedIn users are people too, and you can never predict what's going to work, and you can never force engagement if it's just not working. Every audience is different and has different schedules, tastes, and habits. So learn about your community, see what works for them as individuals, watch what people are responding to. That's why it's always good to look at the competition and see what's working for them. Use trial and error to find the things that work for you in your sector with your target customer or client, and that help you achieve your marketing goals. Connect with people, celebrate their victories, and share values, just like you do offline with your friends when we're together. Again, someday soon, I hope. So that is it for me. And I know we're running out of time, but if there's some questions in chat, I'd love to get to them if people are still sticking around. Let me stop sharing my, oh, thank you. Somebody stopped for me. How'd you do that? That was clever. So do we have any questions?
Okay, so there's a question here from Karin Sternberg. They're asking about reposting blog posts on LinkedIn. If you need to if you can repost the blog itself, or do you have to like make it from scratch?
Oh no, absolutely. But both is very, thank you for asking that question. Very powerful tool on LinkedIn is the article section. And remember, like I said before, some people check in on Wednesday afternoon, some people check in on Saturday morning, some maniacs, usually in finance, are at 7:30 in the gym on the treadmill checking their LinkedIn, right? So depending on who your audience is and their habits, different people look at different times. So if you've got a blog, by all means, post your blog. Then wait a couple of days and repost it on LinkedIn as an article and share that, or do it in the opposite, whichever works best for you. If you're finding more responses from people on LinkedIn, post it first as an article on LinkedIn, and possibly with 3 paragraphs, then say to continue reading and send people to your website. And then post it on Medium about 2 weeks later, if it's value that is evergreen, and then share the Medium post to LinkedIn. Just keep maximizing. You can recycle your content whenever possible. People are going to see it at different times. So the more ways you've got to share it without looking like you're just reposting your own website over and over again, the better. Excellent question. Use that so that when you use the LinkedIn article feature, it's always good to have a nice big picture to go with it. And I do like that sneaky thing of posting it and saying to keep reading, click here, and then sending people back to your blog post. You can also, I urge anybody who's got a newsletter, who sends out e-blasts, to use the function of having a website. I know Constant Contact allows you to create a website for all of it. You'll see on e-blasts, if you can't read this, click here, and it takes you to a dedicated URL. Post that on LinkedIn as well, in case you missed our newsletter. And if your blog post is in that newsletter, that's another time you're maximizing that blog post. So yeah, whenever you can, just don't do it all the same day. Wait a day, do it at a different time of day. The best time for LinkedIn in general is midweek in the afternoon. Wednesday tends to be the sweet spot, Wednesday afternoon, and Thursday is a good day as well. On the other hand, it completely depends on who you're talking to. If you have a child-oriented product, for instance, mothers are busy all day, and they may be, referring to myself when I was a young mother, uncorking that Chardonnay around 7:30 and starting to catch up on the day. So it could be that your audience is actually your potential customers, or who you're talking to, your network is online later. You don't know. And that's why it's good to keep an eye on other folks, see where people are posting, when people are responding, when you get, try it at different times and see when you do get the best response from your network. But definitely maximize that blog in any way you can. For those of you who may not know, Medium is kind of the equivalent of what the Huffington Post used to be. Anyone can post a blog on Medium. And it's not necessarily going to get seen, which is why it's important to post to LinkedIn and to Facebook, every place as well once you've done it. Yeah, but use these tricks to maximize your valuable content.
Yeah, a question that we always have is, when you invite the person, how long should you wait for a response?
So COVID has made that a little interesting. It's hard to say. Normally I like to give people a month, because there are active users and there are people that only come on occasionally. But once you undo it, once you withdraw the request, you then have to wait 3 weeks to re-request, right? And so it's important to keep a log. What I like to do is if I'm working with a client, we've requested 1 million of them, And a couple of them have been sitting around for 2 months. I go to the end and then I take a screenshot of that last page of requests that are 2 months old. I take a screenshot and then I undo them all. I delete them all. And that way I have a record of the people that I want to reconnect my client with again. Not everybody's active. Not everybody's active. So you're not always going to get those responses. Sometimes people check in 3 months later, they haven't been there, they're not looking for work, they don't care. And then they'll suddenly pop on and connect with you. There are certain people who will only connect with people they know in real life. So one thing I forgot to mention, and I'll add this to the presentation as well, is when you look at that people you may know section, where LinkedIn is suggesting connections, my sweet number is 7. If I've got 7, or my client has 7 connections in common, that seems like a safe bet that you're in the same world and those folks might benefit or enjoy connecting with you. If it's 1 or 2, it's a little dicier, but when you start to see 36 connections in common, it's a safe bet that that's someone who's in your world that you could both, get value from connecting with. So those are the strangers I tend to connect with, either for myself or for people. Ones that you clearly are traveling in the same world because you know everybody in common. So yeah, I'd give it a month. In the summer, maybe 2, because people aren't necessarily checking it out, but it's good to freshen it. You just need to know that once you've withdrawn a request, you can't make it again for 3 weeks. So
Very important, yes.
So if for instance, you're going to see somebody like, back days of actual live conferences, if you're going to a trade show or something like that, and you connected with somebody 3 months ago, but you're going to see them in a week, I would leave it there, because then when you see them at the trade show, you'd say, hey, I connected with you on LinkedIn. And that person will say, oh, I didn't see that. And so you could tell them to look for it and it's still there. So you play it by ear.
Most important is that we're going to share this information on the YouTube channel, and people can either refresh. I would like to see some of the tips in special things, especially when that important point that you make, that getting found is the key. How we get found is very important. Catherine Ventura, thank you for sharing your experience, for your knowledge on behalf of Accompany Capital and the Queen's Chamber of Commerce. We welcome all of you. We thank you for being here today. And once again, Catherine, thank you so much for sharing this important information today.
Well, thanks for the opportunity, and thanks for all the amazing work you do.
Thank you.